Hey guys, it's Warman. Welcome to War Reacts. Gotta say, Blizzard's making the right call. I know a lot of you might not be pleased about it, but old classic Andy over here is having a good time reading this news. I'm reading an article right now on PCGamer.com, the only source of news that I check out daily, of course. All jokes aside, I'm reading that World of Warcraft is actually considering, or I guess it's already been considered, they're going to be dumping the combat add-ons in the game. I'm sure there's a lot of mixed opinions on this, but from my perspective, I think this is nothing but a good decision on Blizzard's part. The only thing that I'm a little disappointed with is that it took them so damn long to come to the realization that, oh wait, our whole game's culture and infrastructure is basically built around third-party add-ons that basically kind of cheapened the game. Specifically the add-ons around, of course, combat, because that's the whole point of this game. This is my second take on a video. I feel like I was sort of just being a bitch in the last video, so I'm just gonna give you guys my honest opinion and why somebody like me, somebody who's a 32-year-old fucking shitty dad gamer, why I think something like this is actually good. The first thing we have to look at, of course, is the boss fights in at least retail. I think this is affecting just retail. The boss fights in retail are already just fucking retarded. They're already insanely hard. I can't remember the metrics, but in my mind, I'm thinking it's like 2% of the population actually completes the mythic raids ahead of the curve, which just, I don't know the philosophy around what Blizzard's trying to accomplish here, but if I made a game and the whole point of the game was to kill bosses and get loot, and only 2% of the fucking community was doing that, I would have to reassess my fucking raid difficulty. Now, I'm not saying I want Blizzard to remove raid difficulty. That's not the case. What I'm saying is, and what I think Blizzard's saying, we'll actually read a quote from one of their developers in just a moment. I think what they're just trying to say is they need to have some sort of centralized control over what add-ons people are using in such a competitive environment. Add-ons, of course, are up in the air, and it's hard to sort of regulate them. Of course, there is a process if you use CurseForge and things, like they'll vet your add-on and make sure you don't have any fucking pornographic images in it, I guess. I don't know. I think Blizzard is trying to centralize and sort of unify or have this sort of ubiquitous add-on structure that allows players to not have to wade the waters of convoluted third-party add-on bloat that the game is slowly becoming. It's like if you look at any sort of high-end raider, you see 80% of their screen is add-on. And of course, as a veteran World of Warcraft player, I understand what these things are. Now, granted, retail, I haven't played retail in ages, so when I look at the retail fights, it just looks like content vomit all over the screen, of course. But I do understand, to a non-MMO player, MMOs look fucking insane. They look like everybody playing this game is on cocaine, and then you just up the ante a little bit more when you get to Mythic Raiders. But I think what I'm trying to say, that I haven't said yet, is this is sort of a good way to introduce equity into the game. Now, equity is a weird word, but I think you've got a lot of like 140 IQ people that could probably be working for the government and really helping our world. But instead, what they're doing is they're coming to World of Warcraft. So we're basically like me, a dad who's just fucking average in every way. I'm playing in the same ecosystem as basically Elon Musk's, right? The non-famous Elon Musks of the world have to do something with their life, and they come to MMOs and they become the numbers guys. And they end up writing add-ons, and they end up writing weak auras. And while this is all super cool, right? I'm not a statistician, I'm not a physicist, I'm not a mathematician, I'm not a programmer. I'm a very minor programmer, but I'm not even going to use that word to describe me. But what I'm saying is, when these people are writing add-on, it's now the onus is placed on me to understand what the hell these eggheads are talking about and learn how to implement them into my day-to-day. And essentially what happens to the average player is this becomes essentially like a college 101 class on just like, trust me, you don't know what you're talking about, take the vaccine. That's basically what this comes down to is, look, you're too dumb to understand how satellites orbit, so just trust me, they do. Just trust me on this, trust the science. And look, I'm not trying to get political here, but what I'm saying is it just gets kind of cumbersome to just, you're not even watching videos to understand how the add-on works. So anyways, to sum this up and make the video short, this is just a way for Blizzard just kind of rein in the chaos that they've let sort of ensue for the past 15 years. Again, I don't know why they've let this happen. I don't know. I like modding communities. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy add-ons. I think the add-ons, for the most part, make the game playable. But again, when you say the add-ons make the game playable, that means there's core and fundamental problems in your game that need to be solved. How come people need an add-on to tell those tanks to switch at certain stacks? It's because your boss isn't telegraphing that clearly enough. There's nothing in game that lets the fucking tank know that he's been afflicted by a wound, except for this little tiny thing. And it's like, well, you want me to keep track of shit on the ground, you want me to move the boss in this certain direction, you want me to do call-outs, you want me to tell the healers where to go, and now you want me to check this little debuff and the stacks. And it's just like, it gets a little bit too muddied up. It gets a little too cumbersome. It gets a little too heavy to deal with all these things at once. So you do have a problem with your game when you need add-ons to carry you through the boss fights. So I think this is good in multiple ways. I think it's going to even the playing field between the people who are like super smart and super involved and super in the know of all these cutting edge add-ons. I hardly have time to raid, let alone look up videos on how to properly integrate and install and maintain my shitty add-ons for the one spec that I'm competent at playing. You know what I mean? Icy Veins is telling me to switch spec during a raid. Fucking come on. I'm not doing that. But I hope you understand that from a casual player's perspective, I think this is going to be good because the good players are still going to be good. It's just hopefully the design philosophy around the raid are the bosses are better at projecting shit that they're casting, or if that's not the case, at least it's a ubiquitous and standardized system that Blizzard maintains that all players have access to, and there's no really unfair advantage. I guess what I could say is, if you look at something like Rocket League, I think this is one of those skill-based games where you can tell who the fucking good players are right away. But the thing about it is there's no add-on that these players are downloading, right? It's not like the players who are really good have some sort of boost meter. They don't have like an audio alert when they get to whatever, and they don't have timers on all the little orbs that refill your energy in the corners. No, they're just good players, and they're gonna run circles around the bad players all day long. But what makes the bad players continue to log on and to continue to try to improve themselves is the fact that it's all just skill-based, and it's all just like, hey, the more I play this game and the more I interface with this game, the better I'm gonna get when I'm looking at a professional player. I can go actually observe what really matters, and that's the technique. That's their thought process, and the coaching makes a little more sense, and the whole game just becomes a little more intuitive. I feel like World of Warcraft has just slowly become less and less intuitive, and it's more about just like what fucking third-party add-ons you have yelling at you and how good you are at maintaining them and integrating them into your fucking add-on ecosystem that has a potential to break every fucking patch. And it's just annoying and it's stupid. It's a game within a game that I don't want to play. So I feel bad for the developers of these add-ons because some of them are just amazing. The things that they've been able to do, like Deadly Boss mods or Bigwigs. These are incredible add-ons. It's really cool. But I do feel bad because I know they've been around for a long time, and this has probably become people's livelihood. So I do have empathy for the people who are potentially losing work over this. So that always stinks, but I think Blizzard has to... I think Blizzard let it go on too long, which is the problem. But I'm happy that they're at least recognizing the problem itself. I think they finally realized that, look, we've really just... The game itself has just been going downhill for a long time, and I think add-ons is just one of the straws on the camel's back, right? It's just one of the things that have just slowly been spreading the gap between the good and the bad players. It makes it so I don't want to introduce my wife to this game because trying to get her to understand WASD and mouse and tab targeting is a huge ask. But then it's like, go fucking download this add-on file manager. Have you ever tried playing Minecraft with a modern kid? When I was a kid, I played Minecraft, and you log into Minecraft now and you need there's CurseForge add-ons for Minecraft, and I just can't comprehend it. And that's how people feel when they don't play MMOs. You're like, I just want to stack blocks and build a cool dirt house. They're like, you gotta install this fucking mod, and you've got to get this mod manager that edits your fucking registry and your file system and maintains updates and lowers the version of your Minecraft system so there's compatibilities with you and your friends. Because not all modders keep their add-ons up to date, and some of them won't work with the latest updates of Minecraft, so you have to downgrade your version to be compatible with this lighting and shade texture pack. And it's just like, it's all of this fucking technical jargon bullshit that has nothing to actually do with the game, and the developers had nothing to do with it. It just adds this nebulous cloud of confusion around your game. It's the growing pains of MMOs. But I think Blizzard's making the right choice here if they can integrate the most important add-ons, right? It's cool that they have one bag and they have gear score built in. I'm glad they've been doing that over the years. But the most important ones are deadly boss mods and rotation helpers and cooldown timers. These things are really what would set apart a good player and a great player. Maybe not the best player, but a good player and a great player. Like, you can take a good player, give them a lot of heads-up displays with pertinent and informative information that they didn't have access to, and you'll notice their rotation improves. So whatever this does, whether it's a rework or a redesign of the bosses, I highly doubt that, or whether it's just trying to standardize the add-ons, I think it's going to be good for both the hardcore players and the mid-core players, because it's just going to allow us to all feel like we're playing the same damn game. And it's also going to allow the hardcore players to focus their energies on just being good players rather than having to also master the fucking add-on circus that they're going through all the time, reading patch notes and shit, because they're so cutting edge that any little thing that changes on their computer is a big deal. And then the mid-core players don't have to be bothered with these stupid convoluted add-ons that you have to essentially be. You have to know somebody, be in a high-end guild, and have somebody, some egghead, come in and do a seminar for you every time to explain the add-ons. Or you just don't bother because it's too complicated, right? I know it sounds crazy, but I still haven't installed Elv UI because I'm like, dude, I don't want to fucking navigate this awful UI that you've invented. I'm just going on. This is just the only one I can think of. It's just like, dude, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I don't even know how to make keybinds. It should be the simplest function in the world, but somehow it really fucks me up and I don't understand it. So just reducing all of this add-on bloat, consolidating it all down, and centralizing it by having Blizzard own it all, I think is a good step forward in the game. We'll see if it comes to Classic Mop, if it comes to the Burning Crusades. It would be a really interesting, the Burning Crusades this go around, if they actually disabled add-ons. I'd really be curious how people did. How people would have to intuit their rotations rather than have a fucking cast timer for hunters. I've never understood why hunters needed that. Anyways, I'm ranting too long. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Are you in favor of this, or do you think it sucks? Bye.